Okay, so we're going to teach Ember how to make corned beef and cabbage.
Once I'm done with my ice cream.
Right now she's sitting behind me eating some ice cream. But you buy your corned beef and you cut the packaging open. As simple as that sounds, all the blood is going to be a gel. You want to stick that in your sink so it can drain. And open the package enough to get your meat out. That's not enough. You're going to get a pack of spices most of the time with your corned beef. You want that. You're then going to rub or wash the jelly off of your meat. That's all. Simple, right? And you wash your hands. So what'd you learn, Ember?
That you need to take the blood out and then you kind of just rinse the meat.
Okay.
And then you put it in the bowl.
Put it in a bowl. Okay. Now, you have your meat sitting in a bowl. Put it off to the side. This is when you peel your potatoes if you have bigger potatoes. Or if you have small potatoes, you can leave the skins on. You're going to cut these up.
You bit into my ice cream the wrong way.
Well, that's not good. Because of their size, we're not going to cut them up that much. We're just going to cut them in half. And that's about the size that I like my potatoes to be. But I'm feeding a little kid, so I'm going to cut them into quarters. The size all depends on you. I mean, again, this is a very simple recipe. And this is one of my favorite potatoes. The only thing is you want your pieces to be uniform. So if it means you're cutting it in more than just a couple pieces, cut it in more than just a couple pieces. That is fine. I will wash your shirt. She dripped some of her ice cream on her shirt.
Chocolate.
So Ember's going to dice up some. Yep, go ahead. Yep. Keep your eyes on what you're doing, okay? I'm going to look for the potato peeler while you do that. We need this for the carrots.
And after that, I believe we cut them.
Yeah. Into pieces about the same size as the potatoes. So while you're doing that, Mommy's going to work over here. I'm going to drop some potatoes down here for us.
Just to guys to let you know, this is one of my favorite foods of all time.
Potatoes this size?
You just basically
Just
leave
leave.
them.
Okay? I want them all to be about the same size. This is one of the easiest recipes that I know how to cook.
Besides some, I don't know, meatball, I guess, and eggs.
Compared to meatballs, this is a walk in the park.
Meatballs, you basically just have your meat. You basically put it into a ball. So, Mom, if they're about this big. Shouldn't we only cut them in half?
Yep. You're going to keep all the pieces about the same size.
Mom, they're going to need to go like that.
Okay. What'd you do with the other one like that?
Which one? This one?
No, this is only half a potato. Where's the other half?
I don't know. You have it, see?
No, because I've been throwing mine in.
All my pieces have been right here.
Watch your hand, I'm picking them up.
Here, Mom.
Watch my hands.
I know. So, what are we going to do after the carrots?
After this, we're going to do the carrots.
And what comes after the carrots?
Cabbage goes in last.
First, we do the meat.
So.
She's doing that for last.
Okay. Now that we are basically
Just doing this.
just about done, we're actually going to start the pot of water for the meat. Now this is the most difficult part of this recipe. Ready?
You just basically sit there, not doing any fun.
We're going to move the meat
Can I tell them?
and clear the area over by the stove.
Mom, can I tell them about... So can I start skinning it?
Not yet. We're not there yet.
So, why do you have pickling spice out?
We'll get to that later. Stop jumping the gun, okay?
I am just excited. You know this is my favorite food.
And I'm finally teaching you how to make it. I know.
I'm gonna have to at least put, I don't know, maybe 5,000 thumbs up for this one.
I think you're only allowed one, and you should go wash your face while I get the water ready. Try not to trip on the dog. Okay, so we're going to want to put this on a large burner. I'm going to put it, I guess I'll put it here. You want to fill your pot up about 3/4 of the way, simply because the amount of food you're putting in it and the fact that water rises when it's boiled. Okay? You're boiling the water, so you want to put it on high. Now that Ember's walking back, I'm going to quiz her. What temperature do you put your burner on when you're boiling water?
Hi, I heard you.
Oh, you didn't already know that?
And I watched Grandma.
Oh, you watched Grandma, so you knew that.
So, can I start now?
Not yet.
Ice cream burrito. Just so you...
Okay, so let me pull one of these out.
My mom made a mistake and forgot to start recording when
If
she
you
removed
cut
the
off
food.
about 1/4 of an inch to a 1/2 inch of the top of your carrot, which most people don't use anyways, and you make sure you have healthy leaves up at the top, you stick it in water, it'll grow roots. You only need a few leaves. You don't want a lot because you need to be able to support it with almost no root. You stick it in some water, and the roots will start to grow. Now, not every top is capable of doing that because they have too many broken pieces with no leaves,
Or
what,
it's just rotten.
or it's all rotten like this. This isn't gonna.
Survive.
We might be able to do it with just this bit here. However, I'm only doing 2 to show you how it works. It's too late in the growing season here to grow carrots.
Yeah.
But the collard greens, as long as they're not moldy, you can save with your kitchen waste.
And put it in a bag.
And put it in the freezer.
If you didn't watch
If you want to do an experiment with us on Friday, which is going to be when our next video is. So all your kitchen scraps, your carrot greens, your celery greens,
basically
as long as they're
any
not
green.
potato skins, carrot skins, onion skins, as long as it is not from a nightshade plant and you're doing like the vine on a tomato,
That won't work.
I'm not going to do that because it's a nightshade, and nightshade is very poisonous. So, Friday we're going to do an experiment because supposedly you could take that stuff and make a rather decent soup out of it.
Or stew. Or just basically what we're doing.
So we'll be back when we have these carrots ready to process.
Yeah, Mr. Fuller.
So, you're going to unplug for a second. When you start getting this foam, you want to skim it off so that it doesn't have an earthy taste.
Unless if you like earthy.
So all you do is you pick it up into the sink. Scoop it up into the sink. Scoop it up. This is the blood releasing from the meat. Into the sink. Scoop it up into the sink. Okay. So now I'm going to turn the meat down a little bit.
To like the 8.
To like a medium heat. So like around 6.5 on my dial. Just to kill the bubbling a little bit.
Boiling, not bubbling.
I still want to keep it boiling. I just don't want it bubbling.
Basically, you're saying the same thing but backwards. Look at me, I found butter.
And if it's not coming off of your spoon, just give it a rinse. Okay. Now, I need a bowl.
You always need a bowl.
So I'm going to fill this up with a little bit of water and put the bottom of the cabbage into it. If you can see, I've got little itty bitty roots coming out. So I'm going to see if I can grow new cabbage from the bottom of the cabbage.
Oh yeah, if you guys want to see something cool, I want to show you something.
Ember wants to show you something she found with the carrots.
When I was getting a carrot for myself to eat, I was picking up a carrot and I found this. If a lot of the times this doesn't happen, if you homegrown carrots, that happens almost all the time.
Well, the reason why this happens is because carrot is a root. Root. And when it hits something hard in the soil, like a rock or a hard piece of clay soil, it'll split to grow around it.
That used to happen always when my mom gave me carrots for my old lunch in my old school.
Is this one of the knives? I'll use the smaller one that we cut the potatoes with. We're going to cut the carrots into
About the same
pieces
size.
about the same size as the potatoes.
Just so you guys remember. I'm gonna start helping my mom.
And then we're going to mix them in with the potatoes in the bowl. I might actually have to use those last 2 carrots.
Try, and try again. Try hard and be good.
Ember, the garden's not ready for carrots. We're doing carrots next year, remember?
Yeah, but then we won't be able to have this one.
Okay. Now you could leave the skins on if you like the skins on your carrots. There's more vitamin in the skin than the actual carrot. However, most of my family won't eat the skins, so I peel them off.
I'm still not used to eating the skins, but I just do.
Now, I forgot the most important part.
The seasoning.
That packet of seasoning that comes with your meat. You open it and dump the contents into the container.
Don't we also give it a stir?
All it is pickling spices, which I buy more pickling spices, and I add more because I'm not cooking just the meat.
And there's also more stuff in there.
And there's also bay leaf and some other stuff in this one. Some pepper.
And it kind of smells like cinnamon, which is good. And I love
And skimming the foam before adding your spices, otherwise they're all just going to come out. Now we add half a my-size handful, which is about a full handful for Ember, a little bit more, of whole black peppercorns.
And make sure you don't get water on you because it burns. I learned that the hard way one time by burning myself on my grandma's stove.
Don't touch. Ember. And now our
Like this.
potatoes and carrots are going to be added.
Add it.
And we gotta do this carefully so we don't splash ourselves with the water.
Mommy.
So don't put that much in.
Stand back, Mommy.
No, do it one at a time.
And
One at a time so you don't splash yourself. Don't throw it.
I'm not.
Yes, you are. Bring it to the edge and lower it to the water and drop it. The higher it is, the more away from the water it is, the bigger of a splash. So what you do is you submerge it part of the way and drop it. Pick that up and...
Hold on, Mommy. It's my turn.
You want to try and get them in as close to the same time as possible so that they cook evenly all the way through.
And you might want to do this one at a time.
Again, what did I say? Ember, watch Mommy. Bottom touches the water, less splash.
Like that.
Yep. You want to make sure that these are on top of the meat so they hold the meat down because the meat will float when it starts to cook.
And that's how you know it gets juicy. Like how my grandma makes it. Ready.
And you let this cook for a while. Okay, we're going to cut the cabbage now and get it ready, Ember. This is how you do it.
Yay! Hey, that's mine.
You take the outer leaves off and you cut the bottom off, which I already did. Okay? And then I'm going to show you with half and you're going to do the other half. Okay?
I'm using that knife.
Yes. Okay, so let me show you with half. You cut it in half. I'm taking the smaller half.
Why?
Cut it in half again.
See, Mommy, you broke the cutting board.
I broke the cutting board yesterday.
Now you dropped Nessie. My mom has a hard time after her toes get stubbed.
You're going to take a quarter of it and you're going to slice it down like this.
Alright, and see. Here.
Hold on. I'm going to do this and get out of your way.
Ew, it's smelly now.
And now the container that we had the potatoes and carrots in, we're going to put the cabbage.
So, start right here.
Yep. Nice sizes. You want to cut this one more time.
So, can I cut it this way?
That's fine, you can cut it that way. And then just put the cabbage in there.
You always want to do the safest way.
Yep.
So,
In half. Saw it. That knife is serrated. You want to saw it.
I do the way that Grandma always did.
Well, because Grandma uses knives like these, without a serrated blade. You do the same thing to the last one. It's safer to pick it up like this. When you're a little more skilled, then we'll talk about picking it up the way I do. That's a little too thin, Ember.
I'm just trying to get it in a good way.
Okay, that's it. No,
It's
you're
a
going to cut the
heart.
end off like that.
It's a heart.
That's what I'm putting in that. Now get all your cabbage leaves up in there.
The best kind of knives to use when you're doing this are these two types of knives. So,
What we're going to do now is we're going to wait until the potatoes are cooked and the meat is cooked. Okay?
how about the carrots?
So they take as long as the potatoes. And then we're going to add the cabbage and let the cabbage cook. And we're going to let it sit. But in the meantime, while we wait, we're going to clean up our mess in the sink. The meat starts floating in the pot. The meat is fully cooked. But the longer you cook it in the water with the pickling spices, the more flavor is absorbed. That's why you throw it in first. You can see the carrots and potatoes keep floating up in the bubbles. The meat's sitting there. You're going to flip that a couple times because it's sticking out of the water. And in about a half hour after that meat rises is when you put in your cabbage. So what does it mean when the meat's floating there, Ember?
That means it's almost ready to put the cabbage in.
Yeah, but what does that mean about the meat?
It's fully cooked.
Mm-hmm. So why do we leave it in if it's fully cooked?
So it blends in really good with the cabbage.
And so it draws all the flavor from the broth that we made?
Yep.
Okay.
And this foam
Is the starch from the potatoes. You could skim it off, but you're taking all the spices out if you do that.
almost all. So here we have our cabbage. And should I dump it in now?
Mm-mm. About 6 o'clock we'll dump it in.
6. That's an hour, Mom.
Mm-mm.
That's why I'm hungry.
20 minutes.
I know my mom said it's 6 o'clock, but she said now we put this stuff in. So do I just dump it in or
Put it in little by little because I don't know if we'll need it all. And I just checked the potato and they're almost cooked.
Same thing with the cabbage. You gotta be very careful with this. So, that enough?
More. More. More.
My mom basically needs all of it.
Give it a stir.
I told you we need a stir now.
Like scoop the vegetables off the bottom. I need to see ratio.
I can't scoop them.
Ember, put more cabbage in. Just put it all in. Apparently, for the first time ever, I bought the appropriate size cabbage and I don't have any leftovers. You want to get all the cabbage in there. And let this sit until the cabbage is cooked. And it's time to eat and serve. So another reason why you want to flip your meat is because while it's out of the water, not only is it not absorbing the flavor, but it can dry out too. And that makes your meat hard. You want to keep it moist so it's not hard and it's easier to eat and more enjoyable. Okay, so now that it's done, I took it out before to check on it. That's the cabbage and the wet spot on the cutting board.
3, 2, 1.
It's done. We take the meat out. We put it on the cutting board. Amber put the knife down. We scoop out the potatoes, the carrots, and the cabbage.
Pop
and we
them
put
into a bowl. Sometimes I like to eat bread with this.
I like to eat mine. Sometimes you put butter on your potatoes, your carrots, maybe salt or pepper. I like mustard and horseradish on my corned beef. It all depends on your personal tastes. And yes, we normally eat this on St. Patrick's Day, and Ember's, the bread she was talking about, is Irish soda bread with some Irish salted butter. Now I'm using a slotted spoon so the water drains out.
And if you want some water, you could use a different spoon.
You could save this for broth, or to make a gravy out of,
or maybe even sometimes wine,
or to reheat your meat if you have leftovers.
Can't you make wine out of some stuff?
No, wines are made out of grapes. Sometimes honey. And because you're doing your prep while you're doing your cooking, the whole process, prep and cook, takes about an hour and a half to 2 hours at the fastest. And on St. Patrick's Day, I like to cook it a little slower and a little longer.
Get it a good roast. Just want
to make sure everything's out, unless you want to eat everything that's in it. And the baby is hungry, so real quick, I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, that's everything. Stop picking, Ember. Go set the table. This is what it looks like when it's finished. You serve this on the side, and you slice this up and serve it sliced.
lunchtime.
Ember,
What?
just slice it the way I showed you.
Can't turn it. Nice thick pieces.
It looks delicious. Watch what you're doing.
I am.
Calm down.
Alright, I'm hungry. I can't